Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Jessica. I'm a woman in long-term recovery, and on this channel I make videos about recovery and different recovery pathways, harm reduction, mental health issues that I struggle with, and all things in between there. I really got to think of a different way to say that because I don't like that. Anyway, today, happy Friday, but today I wanted to make just a short video because if you guys know, Tuesday is actually August 31st, and Tuesday is National Overdose Awareness Day, and I want to make kind of a special video for Tuesday. I know it's not my normal upload day, but I just wanted to make a shorter video today and talk to you guys about some books that I have read about addiction and trauma and stuff like that that I thought you guys might enjoy, that I have enjoyed, or that I've got some benefit from, and kind of take the weekend and my next couple of days to focus more on my Tuesday video. It's just going to be like a special upload, I guess you could say, in honor of National Overdose Awareness Day. So I hope you guys are all having a good week and you have big plans for the weekend or just plans to relax. Whatever it is, I hope you're all doing good. Like I said, I wanted to make this video today about some books that I have read or am reading, or whatever the case may be, about substance use disorder or recovery, or whatever the case may be, that I have enjoyed or that have maybe changed my way of thinking or that have helped me, whatever the case may be, that I thought maybe you guys might enjoy if you haven't already read them. If I say a book in here that you guys have read and you enjoyed or you hated, either way, please leave me a comment and let me know, because I love to hear what other people think about stuff like this, and I can't wait to hear what you guys think. So leave me a comment if I say any of them, or if you guys have any other book suggestions. I love to read. I've always been like that since I was little. That's one of the good memories that I have from my mom, is she used to always take us to the library on her day off and let us get books. And gosh, I don't know, I've just always been like that since I was little. I read anything and everything. Anyway, the first book that I want to talk to you guys about is a book called Chasing the Scream. And a lot of people have talked about this book. If you're in the recovery community or anything like that, you've probably heard of this guy. His name is Johann. I think I'm saying that right, but we all know how I am by pronouncing names and words. This is what the front of the book looks like. And if I can link all these books on Amazon, because I think that's where I got most of them. I got the second one that I'm going to talk about at Barnes & Noble. But if I can find the links from Amazon for these books, I'll link them in my description box below so you guys can go and check them out. I think this one I only paid like 10 bucks for it, 7 to 10 bucks for it on Amazon. And it's Chasing the Scream, the First and Last Days of the War on Drugs. And if you have never read this book, I highly suggest that you read it, because he interviews so many people for this book, and he also has a TED Talk that he has done where he talks about a lot of the stuff that is in this book, and he will completely change the way that you think about addiction. Completely change it. He interviews drug dealers, he interviews doctors, he interviews all kinds of people. A transvestite that was addicted. He interviews people that were dealers that have never dealt, that don't suffer with substance use disorder. It's just, everybody should read this book. They really should, because it will completely just open up a whole new section in your brain and change the way that you think about addiction and recovery and how we should approach this whole thing. And it will really open your eyes a lot about the history of the quote-unquote war on drugs that our government is waging, and it's not what you think it is at all. So that's all I'm going to say about that one. You guys, if you don't look at any of the other books that I'm going to talk about, I highly suggest you guys check that one out. The second one that I'm going to talk about, if any of you guys were affected by the opioid crisis, and I know that most people were like, well, duh, Jessica, you know, why would we be here? But I deal with a lot of people that you know, suffer with substance use disorder, and that's not where their substance use started. You know, you guys know that that's where mine started. My drug of choice was Oxycontin. That was one of the, not the first, but one of the first drugs that I ever did that I was like, oh, you know, game on. That was my drug of choice. I strive really hard to stay very far away from that now because I don't trust myself around that. So, but if you guys have ever heard of the Sackler family and any of their dealings, if you've ever read in the newspaper about them and all of that, and you're interested in any of their family or how they came to be, anything like that, this book called Empire of Pain tells you all about them. And it's Empire of Pain, The Secret History of the Sackler Dynasty. Super interesting book. It starts back, way back when their family, you know, first came over in the United States, and just how it goes into how they were raised and what their like family mindset was, how they were raised and what they were taught, and kind of where their mindset is as far as business practices go. It really shows you how their mind works. And, you know, I'm not a fan of the Sackler family. Obviously, I think their business practices are absolute shit. And what they did was completely unethical. And I think that them just throwing money at all of their charges that they've had against them is complete and utter bullshit. And that they should serve time in jail for what they did, because they know that what they did was wrong. And, you know, I don't think that they should be able to get away with what they did just because they're rich. But it's a really good book. The author, his name is Patrick Radden Keefe. I may be saying that middle name wrong, but can you guys see that? It's kind of showing weird on there. Maybe saying his middle name wrong. But like I said, I'll link them down below so you guys can check them out if you want to. It's a really interesting book. He's very well spoken when he writes. So it's not a boring book. At first when I got it, I was like, But once I got past like the first couple of pages, I couldn't put it down. So you guys check that one out. The next one that I have isn't, it does talk in here about addiction and alcoholism, but that is not the main focus of the book. So if you have childhood trauma, if you've had any trauma at all in your life, and any trauma, I mean, if you struggle with PTSD, if you're a veteran, if you do have childhood trauma, if you are a survivor of any trauma at all, I highly, highly suggest this book. It is helping me a lot. And there are times when I start to read it and I have to put it down and walk away from it. Because it makes a lot of sense, but it's very hard for me to read because it makes so much sense. And I'm like, oh, you know what I mean? And sometimes when we suffer through trauma, especially for me, just for me, but like my childhood trauma, the trauma that I've gone through in like my relationships and things like that, now that I'm old enough and mature enough and sober enough to that I started working on them, once I start hearing truths about them and realizing and learning like what trauma bonds are and things like that, that's heavy stuff. So sometimes, I just have to walk away from that for a little while, and that's what I mean when I say sometimes I have to put this book down. But it's great, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce the author's name because I will butcher it. But the name of this book is The Body Keeps the Score: Brain, Mind, and Body in the Healing of Trauma. And right here is the author's name. I don't know how to say the author's name. Bessel van der Kolk. They're a doctor, and it is kind of a long book, I guess some people would say. I read a lot, so it is, hang on, let me look real quick. That's the notes. That's the index and notes. They have a lot of resources and further reading and stuff like that at the back of it. So the very last page before you get to the acknowledgments and notes and stuff like that is 358 pages. There's a lot of stuff in here, and he goes in depth, and he or she, I'm not sure if it's a man or a woman. It's a really good book, y'all. A really good book, and it explains how trauma affects your body and how your body holds on to trauma and the way it just affects you. And it's been a very eye-opening experience to me to read this book. So if you've ever gone through any trauma in your life at all, or if you have a loved one in your life that has gone through trauma and you just want to, maybe understand it better and understand what they're going through and how they're feeling, this book is one of the best ones that I've read. And I've read a lot of books on trauma, especially childhood trauma and like relationship trauma. Because as you guys know, I went through 2 really volatile relationships after I moved out of my mom's house and left all of that trauma from my childhood. I was in 2 really abusive, volatile relationships, and I hold a lot of trauma for that. But the next chapter that I'm getting ready to read is Trapped in Relationships, The Cost of Abuse and Neglect. So I'm telling you guys, I highly, highly, highly suggest this one. It's a really good book. And yeah, it does get hard sometimes, but you can always put it down and walk away from it and go do something that makes you happy. And this one, my last one that I have, and then I'll let y'all go. I don't have the dust jacket for it. Whenever I'm reading a book, I take off the dust jacket, and I can't remember where I put it. So it's probably in a filing cabinet somewhere. But I listened to like a segment of a podcast one day on Instagram, and I heard a quote from this lady. Her name is Glennon Doyle. I'm sure you guys have probably heard of her. And she said something about being in recovery that just clicked. And she was on the podcast and she was promoting this book. So I picked it up. I went and got it because I need very little excuse to buy books. And it has been one of the best books that I've read. And it is mostly geared towards women. Not saying that men can't read it, but her preface in there, says, "For every woman resurrecting herself, for the girls who will never be buried," mostly for Tish, who is her daughter. She is very open and honest about things that she's been through and how she feels about things. And she's in recovery now. She's been an alcoholic, she's been an addict, she's very open and honest about those things. So she's also very open and honest about how her marriage fell apart, how she co-parents with her ex-husband now. Wasn't a healthy relationship. You know, when they were going through the divorce, they're in a great place now though, and they very healthily co-parent their children, which is amazing because you don't hear a lot about that nowadays. So anyway, in case I forgot to tell you, the name of the book is Untamed by Glennon Doyle. And I think that I know that she has written other books, but this is the only book of hers that I have ever read. I'm trying to find a book, or the title page. There we go. You guys can probably see that better than the gold foil. So this one is a really good one too. And it's a little more lighthearted than any of the other ones that I said. This one is probably the heaviest one that I recommended. And like I said, I'll link all of them down below for you guys to read. She does joke around a lot. There are serious parts in the Glennon Doyle book, but she writes with just such an open spirit that you find yourself just, you know, nodding your head and like chuckling while she's writing about stuff, especially when she's talking about raising her kids, or, you know, things that her girls say. I was a single mom. Oh, well, I'm a single mom, however you want to say it. And I know that there were certain parts where she talked about raising her daughters when they were younger, and I'll be like, oh God, yeah, you know, that's Danielle up and down. So you guys check these books out. If you've already read them, let me know in the comment section, because I love to talk to other people about books. It's the nerd in me, I can't help it. And if you have any other suggestions, if you guys have read books really about anything that you think I would enjoy, please let me know. I love having new book suggestions. I read literally anything. Stephen King is my favorite author, but I've read every single one of his books. I own almost every single one of his books. I think I'm missing maybe 2. But if you guys have any suggestions, or if you read any of these, I would love to know what you thought of them, good or bad, whether you liked them or you hated them, and let me know. So that was it for today. Like I said, I'm gonna try to keep this one short because I really want to get to work on my video for Overdose Awareness Day. You guys take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and be nice to each other. And you know the drill. If you need anything at all, please don't hesitate to reach out to me, okay? Please don't hesitate. My email is listed down below if you aren't comfortable reaching out on social media, which I completely understand. I check that email all the time, like several times throughout the day. So if you want to shoot me an email, please don't hesitate. And if you send me an email and I don't respond to you within 24 hours maximum, please send me a message on another social media platform, or drop me a comment here and be like, hey Jessica, I sent you a message. Did you see it? Because sometimes my email is an asshole and it will put it in my spam folder. So just, if you do send me a message in my email, or if you send me an email and I don't respond to it, please let me know, okay? Because I'm not ignoring you. I check that email all the time. I check my DMs on all my social media platforms multiple times during the day. So don't hesitate. If you guys need anything, just reach out to me. If you need Narcan, or if you need to be trained in Narcan, you guys know this drill, I say it all the time, but I can train you over the phone as long as we can see each other. I'm not comfortable doing it unless I can see you, so I can see you, you know, and you can see what I'm doing, actually more. I want you to be able to see what I'm doing more than anything, but I can train you over Skype, over FaceTime, over anything like that. So if you need any of those things, reach out to me. Other than that, you guys have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you Tuesday. I'm going to do 3 uploads next week. So I'm going to do Tuesday at 3 o'clock, Wednesday at 3 o'clock, and Friday at 3 o'clock. So next week is going to be super busy, but you'll get an extra video from me. So I'm going to go so I can get to work on that. You guys have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you Tuesday at 3 o'clock. Love y'all. Bye.